Ag PhD full episodes and more are now available on Acres TV, the newest ag platform connecting you to fields of information. Look for us on watchacrestv.com.
During our Farm Basics time today, we're going to talk just a little bit about ear flex. Now, if you are not a farmer, you're probably going, what? What are you talking about? And if you are a farmer, you're probably saying, okay, if I'm going to lower my planting population, I have to have a corn that has good ear flex. Well, we're here to tell you today that every single corn out there has ear flex, nothing to worry about. But let's get into how can the ear flex and why does it?
Okay, well, hold on here. Now, to say every corn has ear flex is one thing, but how much ear flex? Some have a bigger tendency to flex, and you can influence that corn plant's tendency to flex with a couple of things. First of all, lower populations, as Brian talked about. If you plant less plants out there, you often see bigger ears. I think everybody could agree on that. And sometimes you see double ears. There are some hybrids that might put a second ear on. Others just might flex out and have a 22 kernel around, 50 kernel long ear. And that's what we're talking about here with the ear flex. So you can flex for length. Some hybrids will get longer ears when they've got lower populations or better conditions and more fertility. Others will flex for girth and get a lot bigger around. The other kind of flex that we talk about is flex for kernel depth. And I've seen that a lot this year where we've had good conditions and good rainfall in areas, and we've got deep, deep kernels to the point that there's hardly any cob left. That is pretty amazing when you see deep kernels like that. So there's a lot of different ways that hybrids can flex, and we can influence how much flex there is.
Yep, and I also look at what's the weight of every single kernel. So test weight, I would call almost a fourth type of flex. But anyway, my whole contention is this. Every single corn out there will do all four of the things that Darren just talked about. But he said it right. It's just to what degree will it flex? But the first thing that's going to flex is going to be the girth, how thick that's going to be. That's determined really early in the life of that corn plant, probably V3, V4, V5, right in there. As far as length, that can go almost all the way up until tassel practically. And as far as depth and test weight, that's right down to the end. I mean, right down to the end where some of those things get determined.
And the keys are moisture and available fertility. So if you're thinking, all right, I really want to flex for girth, I've got a hybrid here that can be 20 kernels around, 22 kernels around. I'd rather have that than 16 or maybe 18. How can I do that? Start off with some fertility with the planter, ban some fertility near the row, whether it's in a 2x2 or maybe you're doing a strip till and you're putting it all through the top 6 inches of that strip. Have available fertility so your corn plant, when the root system is still fairly small, like Brian was saying, V3, 4, 5, somewhere in that range, have it close so the plant can find it. Now, what about later on, flexing for length and test weight and kernel depth and all those things? You've got to have some moisture. So if you're irrigating, keep irrigating. If you're dry land, well, you just got to kind of hope that we've got rain. But our other offset for that is just having a higher concentration of fertility in our soil. So even if we don't get a lot of rain, our roots are still likely to find enough fertility.
Well, again, ear flex is a common term that we talk about as farmers. Another common term is weed control. And if you want to stop our Weed of the Week, you'll want to stay tuned for later in the show.